welcome. This is the After Credits podcast. Again, it's just me and Brandon today, and as the title says, we're going to be reviewing Ahsoka Episode 3. It's the day of release, and we've just seen it. Brandon's just seen it more than I've just seen it, but
Yep.
so he might take the lead. But yes, spoiler free.
We can do a low one.
We'll do a little spoiler free for you.
All
I
right.
thought this was. Well, on you go. You go on, Ian.
I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where we are because usually we're on the same page. I think this is the best episode so far, even though it's the shortest one. I think this one, it was very focused on what the narrative was for this episode, and I think everything they did well. I don't think there's a single bad part. I'll have one critique, and I know you know what I'm going to say. Maybe it'll get brought up in the spoilers, but yeah, man, freaking, I think I enjoyed this more than the first two combined. I don't know if it was just maybe it was just the way I watched it, but because the first two, I was stressed out. I was like, this needs to be good. This one was like, okay, I'm completely bought into all these characters portraying these characters. Yeah, these
Yep.
actors portraying these characters. Like I'm completely bought on everyone, especially Hera now as well after her scene. But we'll get into that when
Right.
when we get to spoilers. Ben, what about yourself?
Well, on that front, I haven't finished Rebels for the audience. I'm about 2 seasons in, but I kind of bought the character straight away, but I don't
Same.
disagree
Yeah.
that this episode is like pushed even further.
Yeah.
I would say I think the pace is definitely kicked up a notch in this one, and this one seems the most Star Warsy.
Yeah.
Like
I
this,
know
this
what you
felt
mean.
very like New Hope, but
Yeah. I know exactly like what parts you're
but
referencing as well. For sure.
that may sometimes go a little too far for me. But
All right.
it's very New Hope. Like this is kind of New Hope in half an hour, I guess.
Yeah. In fact, you
But
know what? I feel like Robert might have an issue with this one because he hates it when Star Wars does that, where it's like they're essentially just copying what's happened before,
I
kind
think
of
that's
thing.
fair enough in a full-fledged movie, but I think
Right.
in an episode of a TV show, just to get
Yeah.
from point A to point B, fair enough.
I'm interested.
This one felt like a homage to New Hope in
Yeah.
general. But the good thing is
Yeah.
now that those things have happened, I don't see them cropping up again. You know, I will say I think there is a dogfight in this. Well, I mean maybe not. I don't, there's a space battle in this, and it's probably one of the best looking we've had in recent times.
Especially in TV. Especially in
Yeah,
TV. Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Because I like all the Mando stuff, but it always feels restricted. This one
Uh,
felt like it just went for it. you know,
yeah, and
just
I think this kind of plays into what we've been talking about a few times before, where we're like, if you can make a really good 40-minute episode or 35-minute episode, just make it. There's no need in bloating it out. Like
yeah.
that's kind of I'm kind of torn between we need to have regular timed episodes like normal TV where every
hmm
episode's like 45 minutes or to an hour or something, but they're all regular. But then
Right.
like something like this comes along and you're like, well, I guess it works as well, but it
hmm
doesn't always. That's the problem. But
Yeah.
it did this time, I thought. So yeah, I think I probably agree. This is one of the. I don't know. I think it's. I wouldn't say it's like a full peg above the other two episodes, but I feel like
No. Yeah.
it's probably. You're probably right. It's probably the best of the three so far. And
Yeah, I think so.
again, I agree with like I'm just excited to watch more. And I fucking hated it when that whole final scene and I was like, I know it's gonna cut here. I've not looked at the time, but I know it's gonna cut, and I don't want it to cut because I want to watch fucking more.
yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
cut, and I was like, you bastard. And then I sat there and just watched the credits like a fucking like I don't know, just like a depressed parrot or something. Just sat there like, oh for fuck's sake. But yeah, so next week. But yeah, I'm really excited for where the series goes, and I like
Yeah,
all
man.
the lore they add again. I think,
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
but
I genuinely feel that non-rebels viewers can watch this. I don't think they're going too high like too hard on the previous stuff. Like it gets mentioned, but it's not like that's the plot,
yeah,
Like because they mention Palpatine
yeah,
and the Clone Wars and stuff in Episode 4, but you don't need to know what that is yet. You know what I mean? I feel like this is doing this sort of similar thing where it's just nice. It's nice context if you know what it is, but it's not absolutely necessary. Obviously, I'd recommend watching it,
I
but
think. Do you not
you know,
think that maybe an episode like this should have come earlier in the season to hook people who didn't know about Rebels? Because I think this is.
maybe.
I think maybe the first two episodes maybe were a bit more Rebels heavy, where you're like, who the fuck are these people? Like, why should I like them if
Maybe.
you've not seen Rebels? I don't know.
Actually, I really want Stuart to come on for a video just to hear his thoughts because he hasn't watched any Rebels and barely any Clone Wars. So it's like he's so new to that. Like he don't know who Hera is, like he has no clue. So I'm really interested to hear his thoughts. I don't know if he's been watching the show or not. He probably will just he likes to binge it at the end, but yeah, I'd love to get him on to chat, get that different perspective of
Well, maybe in the
not knowing.
finale
Yeah, that'd be good.
or post finale.
Oh, post
But
discussion.
anything else you'd like to say spoiler free before we go spoilers?
Nah, man.
Okay. Well, this is your spoiler alert.
Oh,
Your spoiler alert. Your spoiler alert. Go away if you don't want spoilers. Go watch the episode. Come back. It's short. I'm sure it'll be shorter than this episode. Having said that, I don't actually think I have too much to say, but I may eat those words.
see,
So
there's not like spoilery things to say. It's just I've just got lots of good
yeah,
like
I think I was
critiques.
really impressed with the visuals in this episode
Yeah, the visuals are
in
really
general,
good.
and just like the design in general, because it's such a it's going to be such a weird place to, to start off with the episode. But I really liked the dojo they were in, and then the chair and tables that came out the floor.
Right, right,
I don't know why that was like something I liked, but when it came up at the floor, I was like, that's cool. I like that design.
yeah.
But there you go. That's what I'm starting with.
Yeah, There's I was focusing on a lot of the lines in this episode. A lot of the lines stuck out to me, and I'll bring them up as we go along. The one that relates to this sort of scene is when is it hey what's the droid's name? It's like hey or what's his name? Freaking hey, Huyang. He he like says like he's talking about Sabine. Um, about how she's like crap, essentially, right? Like, she's not supposed to be a Jedi or whatever. And then Ahsoka essentially says, "Oh, she's not going to be a Jedi. That's not what I'm doing here. Just training her." And then he brings up how, "Oh, you come from a long line of freaking
Yeah,
hooligans, essentially." You know,
I know you'd like that. Yeah,
I really like that because the thing is, like, Ahsoka should be a good trainer because she learned from literally the best in that time. Like she learned from Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda. She had the three probably best in that generation to learn from. So she really should be pretty good. Obviously, she's not. Like this isn't her. This is her first time. So I do find it interesting how she trains Sabine and not Grogu. I don't know what the deal is with that. Like you could say age, but like I don't know. Like it's tough because they're both clearly got emotional attachments.
yeah. The other
But
thing is, I guess you could say she's kind of come to some sort of realization since The Mandalorian, where she's like, oh, back then, because we don't know
yeah,
exactly the time in between this and Mando,
yeah,
but you could say that when she was with Grogu, she was like, nah, and maybe she's like ruminated over it, and she's met
hmm
Sabine again, and
yeah.
she's thought, actually, in order to save Ezra, she's probably going to need this.
Or it's just a simple fact of Grogu's potential to be powerful is so high, where Sabine's so low.
That's
So it's
true.
like,
Even if
it's
I
not,
train you,
you
you're,
know,
you're never going to become a danger, so
that's
I'll
the
just
thing.
train you anyway.
Like Grogu's like he could be a dangerous little
That's true. That's a good point,
dude.
yeah.
I think that's kind of that's where I'm looking at it right now. I don't like looking at the age because I don't know. Like Grogu's had a lot of experience compared to Sabine, but obviously Sabine's technically older in her own way. But yeah, I love that. I love the whole. It reminded me of the what do you call it, the training droid kind of thing. It reminded me of
Yeah,
that. Of course,
100%.
I think like you said, this whole episode kind of just has
Very,
episode 4 vibes.
very. I don't. I think it might be a little too heavy-handed at times, but uh,
Honestly, I didn't even pick up on it until the starfight when they're cutting from
that is
the guns.
basically. I don't want to say shot for shot remake, but it's
Yeah,
filmed
they're
very
like,
similar.
what is that? Is that a space station? Like they
Yeah,
literally
well,
say that.
not even just the lines though, but like even the shots. Did you notice were very,
Yeah,
very like that the first fight with the Millennium Falcon
yeah,
and the Tie Fighters after Obi-Wan dies.
Yeah,
It
100%.
was very that
Even them flying up to the what do you call it?
the hyperdrive ring.
The hyper. It's the same as like the Death Star when they first see it. You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of and then C-3PO in the back. You know,
I really like David Tennant's character in this. Like,
bro,
really, really like him.
he's becoming one of my favorite droids. Like he is up there. Like because honestly, R2's he's the only one that comes to my mind right away. Or BD1. They're probably my top two at the moment. R2 purely for nostalgia. Like,
But
like,
mate, whoever programmed droid sass, man, across the galaxy, they
yeah.
like whenever there's a protagonist droid, it's just sassy as fuck. You know, like
But
even Chopper.
I love K2SO from like Rogue One as well. But like I don't know, man. Hu Yang's freaking doing it for me. Like
Yeah, I really like him as
he's
well.
sick. Maybe it's just because it's not Hugh McGregor.
I
David
also,
Tennant.
I just really, yeah, I think that's part of it. But it's weird because like I hear his voice, but I'm not like thinking about him all the time.
I think it the first time, and then I forget. You
Yeah.
know, like as soon as when he first speaks in an episode, I'm like, "Oh, it's David Tennant," and then I get
And I
lost in
think
it.
this episode is probably one of the best displays we've had of the John Favreau line where he's like, "We went back and we watched what influenced George, not
Yeah,
Star. We didn't watch Star Wars. We watched
yeah,
what George was watching when he wrote Star Wars, and what went into Star Wars." And I think this episode's like probably one of the better examples. Is obviously you have the very like very Japanese training in the dojo where he's literally
yeah,
saying like I don't know if they're real Japanese like words, but they sound very like Asian
yeah,
inspired or Japanese, which I would have taken something a little bit less on the nose, but fair enough. The other thing is obviously the World War II film, like dogfights, inspired
mm-hmm.
dogfights. That was very like obviously it was inspired by the original Star Wars fight as well, but
Yeah,
there was a few like even the design of the ships that they were getting attacked by are very like World War II fighter, like P-51,
yeah,
Spitfire, or whatever. They're very of that aesthetic, and I really like that. I really like the design of the ships and stuff.
yeah. I'm really liking the Ahsoka one, the red one. I'm really starting to
Yeah,
like that. I like how the middle moves at a different way
magnetic bit.
the
Yeah,
flat bits do. I do like that. I like those sort of designs. It reminds me of the beeping a little bit. Um, yeah, the sort of red trees at the end kind of remind me of like sort of Japan as well a little bit. Kind of
yeah,
remind me of Ghost of Tsushima, the game. Yeah, no, I'm really feeling the sort of samurai vibes and stuff for sure. Um, yeah, I was watching it right, and I know we're like 3 years into this, but I'm like, Rosario Dawson's so good as Ahsoka, man. Like, I completely buy it. Like, because I'm just watching her, I was like, holy crap, man. Like, you're that character.
I do, but
It's
I
insane.
think they've maybe went. I don't know where Ahsoka's going, so maybe this is part of her development.
Hmm. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know where Ahsoka's going because of her development in the series, but where she is right now, she feels almost too stoic. And I know that she's a Jedi, or like she's supposed to be a kind of Jedi Master now, and she's taken on that mentor role.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they've maybe lost a little too much of what makes Ahsoka Ahsoka for me.
I don't
But I
know.
guess she's older. That's the hard thing to like reconcile. It's like I'm
Yeah,
making
because
that
she's
point,
like,
but I know she's like 45 now. She's not 14. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I find it almost too stoic. But
that's fair.
that obviously
That's
depends on
fair.
where they take it. So that's not necessarily a complaint right now.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, they probably did that because Sabine was going to be there, and she's clearly going to be the sort of kid. So it's like it'd be weird to have both of them be childish. Not to say Ahsoka and Rebels is childish, because she's not. I know what you mean. She is a lot more stoic. I don't know. It's not really bothered me. There's little parts of her where I'm like, oh, that's Ahsoka. Whereas, like for example, she's sitting in the pilot seat and she's put her feet up, and I'm like, oh mate, like yes, like I
Right.
noticed that. I was like, she's still got that child in her kind of thing, but yeah, yeah. No, it's not really bothered me, but I don't know. I kind of just see it as a maybe not natural is probably not the word for it, but like it's just the progression of her getting older.
Yeah, and that's why I'm finding it hard to like criticize it too much.
Yeah.
Because also she might soften up as the series goes on, because she's also not in a great place emotionally right now, I guess,
Mm.
in terms of with Sabine. Like it's just kind of like that fell through before, so maybe she'll soften up as they kind of get back together closer, and especially with Ezra and stuff.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
But yeah, and then we have I'm gonna skip around, I guess, but like we have the Purgil in this episode, like
Purple.
full fledged. That was actually a really good chase. I like that, like through
Oh,
their tentacles and
oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those space whales.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was really cool,
Loved it, mate.
and
CGI was good too.
it was good. Yeah, and I watched this episode on the TV this time. I didn't watch it on my phone, so I could tell it
Yeah,
was PG.
yeah. Very good. Yeah, I like that. I liked all that stuff. I liked this when Ahsoka was like standing on the ship and stuff. I typically
See,
don't like stuff like that,
oh,
but
well,
I was
I
okay
all
with
I
it.
could think about the whole time they were like, because I knew that's where they were going
Yeah.
when they, as soon as they, well, not as soon as, but like when they like stalled, when they were like in like dead in space,
Mm.
and then the door opened. I was like, oh fuck, we're not doing Leia our way. We're not doing like Mary Poppins Leia.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried,
Yeah.
and it wasn't as bad as that, but I don't know how I feel about it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was great,
Didn't
but
go didn't go over the top of it. You know what I mean? They didn't do bloody Star Wars. What do you call it? The anime stuff they did. Visions, like Visions went too far with that. Like I remember scenes from that where they're just cutting up ships and stuff. Like she's mainly deflecting. I think she cut up one. Um,
kind of in the Rey Skywalker way, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I don't mind. Like I think like I said, if it was Leo, nah, nah, nah. Let's avoid that, please. But I thought it was fine. It kind of reminded me of Clone Wars because they did that a lot in Clone Wars as well, where they were like standing on top of the ships and stuff and
Right.
using their lightsabers and stuff. Maybe it was just a callback to that. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I
I
want.
did like
Oh,
the scene,
oh, sorry. Continue your point.
I like the scene leading up to that where they are actually like they're trying to scan it, and I thought the bit with the bomb, I thought this was a better version of the bomb they had in like this first, no, the second episode, where like Ahsoka's standing there, she's like, "This bomb's not gonna go off," and like Sabine's like, "This bomb's not gonna go off," and like David Tennant's losing his shit. He's like, "Turn it off, turn it off." Like I didn't think that was okay in the last episode, but I thought
Yeah,
this was a better version of that where it's like the kind of ticking time bomb,
yeah,
where he's like 10% shield, 10% shield, and they're just still flying at it.
yeah.
Uh, I thought that was very World War II. I thought because like the turbo lasers usually, I think they just go off to infinity. The sort of the lasers, but in this they were kind of resembled like anti-aircraft guns from
Right.
like that you would see in like a Second World War film. It felt very like Dam Busters sort of thing, and even the ship they're in's like when it landed and then the fighters go over. I thought it was very like bomber versus like fighters, and I quite like that because I'm
Yeah,
a sucker for World War stuff as well.
yeah, man. It's good to see it being referenced, because this is the sort of era we like in Star Wars, where it's like it's essentially the original, and that's where George took
Well,
a lot of the references,
yeah,
like the
and
Vietnam and World War II and stuff.
I think the reason that's important for this, because you might think, well, oh, well, those that film's past, whatever. Like we've had space battles since that are better, but I think the problem is that when the space battles are inspired, I'm not saying they're all inspired in the original trilogy, but like when they are kind of padded out that way or staged out that way in like a World War II film style, and then you go to any other sci-fi film, they're not doing it that way. So
Yeah,
at least like if you can keep it be in that kind of style, at least then it has Star Wars has its own space battle style, which
mhm,
is World War II film in space.
yeah.
Whereas anyone else can make any other ship battle take place
Like
and they can make it
dogfighting. You don't
style.
really see dogfighting in many sci-fi films, I don't think. I feel like it's only really Star Wars that does that. Saying I don't watch Star Trek, so I can't judge that.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like a Star Warsy thing. Which, as to your point, it that's their vibe. That's kind of what they're going for. But yeah, no, I love all that stuff. I know you're more of a space guy than me, like with the ships and stuff. Like you love that stuff. Like, that was your favorite scene in Andor, when freaking Luthen was
That was class as well, yeah.
does the
Well that
freaking laser beam.
yeah. Like obviously you don't need to make everything. I'm not saying like everything has to be World War II inspired because obviously that fight was good but that was like an interesting concept.
Yeah,
Like that was a new concept for Star Wars as well. So
yeah,
like obviously there's exceptions, but I like that they're at least keeping that in the style.
yeah, for sure,
sure. And just like we referenced before, like the Japanese sort of samurai vibe, and then they got the World War was it one vibe.
Two.
But then Andor, not Andor, Mando has the Western cowboy. You know, so it's like it's good to see that
Yeah.
being represented. You know, I think my favorite part of this episode was when Hera was talking to Buddy, our girl Mon Mothma. Uh,
She looks way too young, but I don't
she
think
does it. She should be a lot older.
especially the thing is, it probably would have gotten away with it had she not been so big in Andor and she looked the exact same. But like,
Yeah,
she's a hologram. Like, surely it's not that hard to just age her up a bit through a hologram.
yeah.
Like,
She would surely be grey by now. Surely, because she's like at least she's about 35, surely in Andor, right? Like around that age,
if not older.
if not older. And then that what we're like how many years? Like 30 years roughly, like after that.
I mean, she was Ginger in Return of the Jedi, right?
She was, but I think that's just 10 years since that then, now though.
It's probably coming up on 10, yeah.
Because as we see, Jason Sindula is freaking about he's about 8, maybe 8 or 10, something like that. So it's been a bit. Now that was my negative. Freaking Jason, man, cut the hair, get rid of the green hair, man. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's stupid. Get rid of it. I don't know where
I
they're
thought it,
getting that idea. Where it's like, oh, she's got green skin, therefore he has green hair. Nah, man. Like,
I thought it was subtle enough in this episode to get away with it,
I,
but
I just, it's just like,
it wasn't
why
like
have
luminous.
it though? You know, like it's, I just don't know what they're trying to get at. Like, is it dyed or is it not? Is his hair like naturally green? But if it is, why? You know, is it because she's green? Is it as simple as that? You know, it's just, I just hate it. It's just stupid. Shave the head. I swear, when I saw Lego figures, he did not have green hair. So I'm hoping it gets fixed.
I thought,
Um,
what do you call it? I thought he was all right in the episode, though.
yeah,
I thought
he himself was fine. Yeah,
that was a good amount as well, because
yeah.
it was like, oh yeah, he exists, and then he's in it, and
I
then
want to
he's
be a
also
Jedi. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. It's like, all right, bye bye, let's go and do interesting
do
stuff.
you
It
know who
wasn't
your
like,
dad is? I wonder if he
yeah, and
does know though. That's an interesting thing. Does he know Kanan? Like, is he aware of who his dad
I,
was and stuff?
I'd be surprised if he was like, I want to be a Jedi, and he didn't know about his dad.
That'd be interesting.
I thought that was kind of the reason that he was like, I want to be a Jedi.
It's the whole Luke Skywalker thing, you know. There's like he doesn't even know. But the Hera stuff, she said a line, and I was like, oh my god, that was sick. And that's when she talks to that dude, and she's like, "What did you do during the war, Senator? Did you watch for the sidelines and then
I
partner
think
with whoever
he
won, like kind of thing?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you've just completely shat on politics in Star Wars because that's what happens every time. It's like the politicians will just side with whoever wins. You know, they don't get involved until the job's
I have to
done.
tell you,
You
that's
know."
not just Star Wars.
Well, yeah, of course, of course. But like, I was like, oh, I was like, that's Hera. I was like, that's the moment she became Hera for me. I'm completely bought in now. Like, I liked her in the last two, but it felt like cosplay. But now I'm like, okay, you've nailed the personality now. Especially when they brought up Ezra, and I could tell she was getting emotional. I was like, oh man, I was like, that's freaking sad. Because in the show, that's essentially her son, like that she raised them for a long time, you know. Same with Sabine, like they're essentially our kids. So it was nice to see that sort of attachment there. Again, obviously that's more satisfactory for people like us who've seen the shows and stuff, but it's nice, a nice little callback. But I love that stuff. I know for a lot of people it could just be boring politic talk, but I love that stuff in Star Wars.
It's also small, like
And it's small, yeah.
a small part in a small episode,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't really complain.
But it's good to see where the world's at because obviously they're like I like the argument on their side though, how they're like, oh, you're just wanting assets so you can save Ezra, but that's a waste of assets for us because that's a personal matter. We could use it for something better,
Well,
you
I
know.
think the point they were getting at as well was that she's using Ezra as an excuse to get more power, as
Yeah,
opposed to just looking for him. That he's more of an excuse so that she can advance in the rebellion,
there
well, in
you
the
go.
Republic, which is a good enough
Yeah,
reason.
I thought, yeah, you know, I'm like that's a smart enough reason. I can buy into that.
Well, see, the thing is, I guess why that's interesting is because you're like, oh, well, that's a good point the enemy's made, so like she has to talk her way out of it now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I don't think she does successfully, but like that's the point.
yeah.
But that's much more entertaining than just like yeah, like Mario Mustache twirling bad like Republic guys who are like, oh, we don't. There's not actually a valid point against you. It's just we need to do this for the plot. Like there was
Yeah.
actually a good reason for it.
Like it's good to know that they have their own reasons for doing what they're doing. They're not just being douchebags,
Yeah,
you know. And I
it
really
wasn't.
like that.
It wasn't. Why is there no Avengers in this Secret Invasion episode?
Yeah, pretty
It's like a
much,
reason,
pretty
yeah.
much. I can imagine some people
You
being
can't
like,
keep
"Oh, they're
lying.
douchebags. Like they should be helping for the greater good." Because there's definitely gonna be people saying that. But I like it when there's a little bit of conflict like that, and they have
Yeah.
their reasons and stuff. It's not just too
It's
perfect.
also the Republic's gonna fall, so like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no point in making them like too competent, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Like
exactly, exactly.
you know they fuck it up in the next 10 years anyway.
I won't lie though. I was like, when they said Chancellor, I was like, "Who's?" My mind went to Leia, and I was like, "Is Leia Chancellor at this point?" And I was like, I wasn't sure. But then Mothma showed up. I was like, "Oh, of course, yeah, makes sense." I was like, "I see." Makes me wonder though, like, what is Leia doing during this sort of time? Because
She's
Kyle was
raising
born, right?
she's
So,
raising a little bastard, yeah.
oh, oh boy,
He's gonna ruin the series in about 15 years.
sad times, sad times.
Jeez, oh.
But yeah, no, I really like that sort of stuff. It's just because I like the world building, especially because like this is stuff that the sequels really needed, and that was just this what's going on in the world or the galaxy. You know what I mean? Like where's all our factions and like how much power did they have and all that? They didn't because we just got First Order, and it was like, well, where did these guys come
No,
from? Now we have a lot of stuff like kind of setting up.
this
You
is
know?
completely off topic a bit, but I was thinking about this today watching Ahsoka, and I was like, actually thinking about it, J.J. Abrams is a really bad choice for Star Wars, and I think obviously the sequel trilogy had worse things come along after the fact,
Yeah,
but for starting up a trilogy of Star Wars, especially, J.J. Abrams is actually a really bad choice in my book, because he is known for bringing up interesting concepts but not explaining them, and
mm,
I think Star Wars is that's not what Star Wars is, right?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, there's mystery and all that, but George is notorious for over explaining things. But like what I mean by that is that like with Lost, so he comes up with this concept. And he's like, "There's a polar bear on a tropical island, and there's all these weird things, right?" But he's not writing the reason why that gets like resolved.
Yeah,
He's just like, "Look at this thing," and that's what he did with the First Order. He's like, "Oh, the Empire's back, and no one knows how."
yeah.
And it's like,
Smoke.
but that's not good storytelling, and it's too soon, right?
Mascara has a lightsaber. She'll tell you why in a different film.
A good story for another time. It's just bad writing
And then he
that, but
gets the
like,
film back and he's like, oh shoot. I don't know how to answer these asking
yeah,
questions.
exactly, exactly. Right? But I think this is what I think you're kind of right. They needed more of a fleshing out rather than a
Yeah,
like hard reset.
yeah,
And J.J. Abrams has done that twice, I think now with Star Trek as well. He kind of did a hard reset,
yeah.
and it's like I think actually, like obviously you can hound him, but he got hired, so
That's fine.
I think it's
There's
obviously like
there's a
things
lot of issues in it, but it's just that they're all involved. You know what I mean? So it's
they
like,
are. But I think more I think about it, the more I think it was doomed from the start with JJ. Like I'm not blaming
yeah,
JJ, but like from the start, from what he set up, it's just we're dead wrong, and this is what we needed
yeah.
was a continuation and not a hard reset.
Because now it's interesting now because we just had Mando season 3, and we saw the Empire's perspective in that, with Moff Gideon and stuff and his little secret meetings and stuff. Now we've kind of seen both sides now of like where the politics and world building's at on both factions. So I feel like I'm caught up now. Like I think they've clearly explained what's happening, and I'm a big fan. It's simple as well. They're not overcomplicating it. You know, I think it's as simple as the I don't know what they're calling them. Is it just the Republic? Yeah, like they're just too comfortable. They think they've like there's no war. Thrawn's not coming back. It's like we're all good. Whereas like in the shadows, like the Empire is planning on bringing Thrawn back, raising an army and stuff, which I'm fully expecting to happen, which I'm totally down for. But yeah, no, I'm freaking loving it, mate.
I was surprised in this episode. Actually, Ahsoka just like she straight up like, oh, they must be in a different galaxy, and we need that's what they're going to the hyperdrive thing. She's like, oh, can that take you to another galaxy? And then he's like, theoretically, yeah. And it's like we know that already, so there's no point in like not having the character know.
Yeah,
I was just like, it was kind of weird for like just the character to just kind of no, not no, but like
Well, did they
he's
not
like, oh,
set? Did they not set up like, oh, this has the power to send you light
yeah, but
years,
like
kind of thing?
Ahsoka wouldn't know that, right? But
I guess.
the but like for her to be like, oh, intergalactic travel straight away, I was like, okay.
But
But
she knew the whales could do that, though.
did you know it was intergalactic though, or just hyper drive?
Yeah.
Because like those are two different things, right? Because like they even say, and I actually like the explanation they give in this, that it's like the intergalactic travel is that these Purgils do it anyway, but they're like migratory.
Right.
So then when you're going through the hyperdrive, like you're just following the channels that they already follow, and that's kind of I kind of like that bit of lore as well. That
Yeah.
that's where hyperdrive, that's where like hyper travel came from.
Yeah.
Is they're observing these whales do it.
Which
But,
which is realistic to real life as well. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that where we got like those whales that have like echolocation? Did we not learn it from them? Surely, right? Is that a thing? Or am I just completely faffing? It'd be a bit random if it was a coincidence, though. Surely.
because well, I don't know. It's a bit like because your eyes are just tuned to certain light, and it's like animals are just tuned to sound.
I
So it's
see.
like the theory of like how sound propagates is kind of incorporated within that anyway. But
Yeah. Either way, we like it. We like it. That's nice.
yes,
We do. Not a lot of Ray Stevenson in this episode, though. That's a shame.
he came on screen and I was like, oh mate, he's got like one line in this. I was like, man, he was good already. Like you
He's
seem
just
to see it a
cool,
bit.
man. He's just cool.
And I did watch a video today on, I think it was heavy spoilers or something,
Oh,
but he was like, oh, he gives off a dark Obi-Wan vibe.
oh.
I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. It gives off like if Obi-Wan was like a hulking massive man and turned to the dark side. That's kind of what Obi-Wan would be.
Buff Count Dooku.
Yeah, like yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that.
I do. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know what they're planning to do with him because I'm seeing people say, "Oh, he's going to turn." I don't know. I honestly don't have many theories, to be honest.
Well,
I'm just watching. I'm just
the reason
watching. You
I think
know.
the reason that theory came about is because he sends people into the forest and doesn't go after Ahsoka himself, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, is he doing that because he actually doesn't want to kill Ahsoka?"
And he said it'd be a shame to kill her in the last
Yeah.
one because
So
there's so few of them, So there's
I could
there's
see it,
there's,
but
there's stuff. There's definitely stuff.
even before we learned that Ray Stevenson had died, I think this character is not going to last very long anyway.
Yeah, yeah. The younger one's probably going to
Probably.
continue. Yeah.
But did you notice something about her? I twigged
Would you twig?
a little summon in this episode.
Would you twig?
She has a Jedi Padawan braid in her hair.
Yeah.
So,
So that's
like,
interesting.
obviously, like it was already kind of implied that uh, this guy, like, what's his fucking name? Ray
It's
Stevens'
Balin.
character. Balin, yeah. It's already implied that he's like ex-Jedi.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, it's the stories from the Jedi Temple the kids used to tell.
yeah.
But like, that's basically confirmed that he's like
Well, they
ex.
said like they built his lightsaber as a Jedi. Like the droid said that in the last episode. He was like, well, only one Jedi crafted this saber, and it was Balin.
Oh,
So he's
but
he's definitely part Jedi, yeah, for sure. But he left during the Clone 66. So you think he's trained her as a Jedi then, or a bit of
well,
both? Kind
I
of.
think I think it would be cool in my head. The coolest version is that he kind of started training her as a Jedi,
Yeah.
and then he's kind of himself kind of lost his way in the Force, and they've both kind of just went down that path because he has.
Right.
I think that's more interesting. Because I feel like if he's already bad and trains her, why keep the braid? But I
Yeah.
feel like if he was like trying to restart the Jedi himself, like with her, and then
Interesting.
he like fucked up, I think that's much cooler.
Yeah.
It's also a good parallel for Ahsoka,
Is.
right? And it makes you wonder: is Sabine gonna get a wee Jedi braid at some point?
Well,
She's a
she
Padawan
just cut
now.
her hair, mate. She doesn't have the length for it anymore.
Well, you grow it back.
Go back. Yeah, definitely. Actually, speaking of Sabine, I really like they do it in every time there's a Jedi centered show or movie. They do this, but the way they explain the Force in this, I really liked as well. because everyone tells it differently, you know what I mean? And everyone has their favorite versions. My least favorite's Qui-Gon because it's just like, oh, it's just your freaking midichlorian count, mate. I hate that. I like it when I honestly like what she said, and it's essentially what Yoda says, where it's like everyone has it in them. Everyone's got like the force around them, but only a certain few can tap into it. You know what I mean? So she even says like talent does have a thing to do with it to be powerful. For example, Anakin, the most talented, or at least that has the most potential to reach that level. So it's not like it's impossible for Sabine not to have the Force, even though she's not Force sensitive now. It's just to do with the training, right, and dedication, which is
Sure,
it's
but
interesting.
I I know the point they're making, but and I guess that kind of comes into like the Last Jedi as well. Their
Yeah,
message in that film. I honestly, I think that's all well and fine, but I like it much. I like it a bit more when it's a bit, ironically, like less nuanced. When it's more discreet. When it's like, it's not like Dragon Ball power levels. That's too far.
yeah,
But when it's like, there's a threshold of talent that no one, no matter how much hard work you do, you're never going to be force sensitive.
right,
Whereas it seems
right.
like they've kind of blurred that line now, where like yeah, they've kind of said, because they've said, "Oh, you're shit in the Force. You're literally worse than the worst Padawan we've ever had." And I thought, part of me was like, "Oh, is he just saying that, or is that true?" And then he's like, he doubles down like 4 times in this episode. He's like, "No, that's true. She's bad."
Yeah,
But then it's like, "Oh well, hard work can do anything." It's like, well, can anyone, given the right teacher, can anyone be a Jedi then? And it's like, I guess that might be what they're saying, but I think I do prefer the kind of anyone to a degree,
yeah.
but some people never.
I think that to the degree for me is, as you say though, it depends on the teacher and training. Like it's not like I can just go and pick up a broomstick and then freaking learn the force. Like you need someone like Yoda, Ahsoka, or Obi-Wan
I
to
don't know
kind
if I
of
even like that though. Even
do
like,
that,
because
you
I
know.
don't imagine Yoda could go up to any old schmuck in the universe and just be like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you to use the Force," and it would work.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's so like I think there's a lot of aspects to it. You know what I mean? Like where like with Sabine, at least she's got combat training. She's been around people with the Force for a long time. Like she understands parts of it. She's even trained with Kanan before, so it's like it's not like she's completely new to it. But it's just
Yeah, but
it's
then
tough. I don't know. It's a really complicated
why wouldn't
discussion,
you
isn't it?
why wouldn't you just train everyone in the Force then? Like on the good side, you know?
I
On the
guess it's
bad
because it's
side
so
first,
well. Like
you
how long it's taken her. You know what I mean? Like
I
I
suppose,
really
but
hope she doesn't use the Force to the end. Like don't.
well, I when she had the cup going, I was like, "Nah, bro, not
Yeah,
right now.
I
Not
actually
right
love how they come back to the cup when she's like, "I'll deal with you later." And it cuts back.
now."
Like,
Right.
that made me laugh. That was good. That was good.
But I was really glad he didn't do it because I was like, even if that moves an inch, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be annoyed.
Yeah, I don't want any sign of that. Yeah, for sure. And I really, Dave Filoni, please don't make her OP by the end of the show. Like she should be better, but not like she shouldn't wreck that. I can't remember the other girl's name, the blonde one. Um, Starts with an S. Bugger.
Shit.
Shin. Yeah. I do like because we know they're going to fight again. I don't want her to kick her ass. I want it to be pretty. It probably will be even, and even that's a bit of a stretch because she's clearly trained for a bloody long time compared to Sabine.
She's
But
also presumably tapping into the dark side.
yeah,
At the early stages, should be more powerful.
yeah. So I'm curious how that fight's gonna go because obviously, like narratively, Sabine's probably gonna win because the good guys. But I don't know. I kind of like it when the villains win, but she's already got the win, so I don't know where
I
they're
mean,
gonna go with this.
Dave Filoni's off his fucking head, man. This guy needs to stop talking about wolves. I'm just an IMDb, and Balin's second name is Skull, and Shin's second name is Hati, which are the two
Alright.
from Norse mythology. Mate, this guy needs to stop with the wolves, bro.
He's got a thing for
I know
wolves.
you like wolves, but Skull and Hati, God, stop it.
God
Stop
damn. But yeah, I don't. I think that's pretty much all from this episode. I don't know if there's other stuff here.
Well, we've been pretty positive. Is there any negatives you have?
Jason's
Pick.
hair, mate. Get rid of that. Freaking Buzz got him. Get a razor blade and shave that hair. Honestly, no. Like I said, like this is all pretty good to me. Um, Maybe because it was short, it was condensed, so it's like there wasn't enough filler to kind of cut stuff out to have bad stuff be in it. which is like why I didn't really mind the short episode. Which is funny because if this was Mando, we would have been rioting. We'd be like, right, what's going on here? That's because they have filler in their shows, whereas this hasn't had filler yet. I know it's early days, but keep it up. Let's not have no filler,
Well,
please.
on the track record we've been on, Boba Fett's had Mando episodes, Kenobi's had Reva episodes, Mando's
Yeah,
had mate. We could have we might have like 2 episode deviation onto like some fuck knows character we've never heard of.
Anakin Skywalker, mate.
The
Not good.
only good exception.
Wait,
The
right.
only good exception to that.
When do you think he's going to show up? What episode? So there's 8 episodes.
Right.
Do you think he's only going to be in one? Is he going to be in a bit of?
Again, I think they wasted him in Kenobi quite a lot, and I think
Yeah.
it'd be a shame to bring him back again. And like I guess the thing is like if you keep bringing him back, it's going to be less special. But at the same time, like fuck that. Like
Yeah.
I want to see him. Like
Yeah.
so I don't know. I would like what I want from the end of the show is kind of where spoilers Jedi Survivor leaves you. Is
Right.
you kind of have hope for the Jedi,
Yeah.
where you're like, ah, yes, like David Tennant's character is going to be like that's my thought process is that at the end of this, we're going to have Ahsoka, like him, and some students, and it's going to be like, oh, this could be a new Jedi Order, and then you've got the same on like bumfuck nowhere in like Cal Kestis's case, and I want these like little patches across the universe of like Jedi coming back, and
Yeah.
I think maybe I don't know what's happening with the other galaxy, but if they're gonna trap, like say they trap Ahsoka and Ezra and all that in a different galaxy, there's no reason for them to ever be coming into contact with anything from like the sequels. So they
Yeah.
should technically be safe from all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though Luke's school kind of dies, like at least we have Ahsoka's school in a different galaxy.
Yeah.
So like that's maybe not exactly what I'm hoping for, but something of that like caliber where I'm like I want there to be some sort of like future for the Jedi in this, and I don't know why you have David Tennant's character if that wasn't the case.
That's a good
So
point. That's a good point. To be fair, like why did they bring him back specifically? You know.
yeah, and it could just be like a Clone Wars thing or whatever. You just want continuity with like the
Yeah.
shows, but like
But
that
he
seems
was
like
only about like 2 or 3 episodes in the Clone Wars. Like, it's not like he was
yeah,
a big deal.
but it
You
seems like
know?
the obvious choice. If you're going to restart the Jedi Order, it seems to make sense to use basically the Jedi catalog to read.
Yeah,
Right?
good point. Good point.
Like, because he knows the thing is Ahsoka will deviate from the Jedi path if she's teaching
Yeah,
students.
yeah,
I guess that's a good thing because the Jedi fucked up, right? But
yeah.
you
And
can
she
still
even
have,
said that. Yeah.
and I think the good thing is that you can have Ahsoka's kind of more rebellious tendencies with regard to like doctrine and that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have like the traditional robot where he's like, no, this is very much the rules, and then you have both, and the students have access to both, right?
Yeah.
And that'll give you a really good basis for a school. And I'm like, if they don't do that now, I'm going to be really annoyed because that seems like the obvious choice to go for. I don't want them to do like a Game of Thrones and just subvert expectations. Be like, oh, the droid dies because you like him, and I'm like, yeah, but that's the end of the fucking Jedi, mate. Like, unless they just do like that
Yeah.
robot hot wiring where they're
You know,
like,
that's such a good point. That's such a good point. Like that. Like I didn't even think about that. Like he's got the whole database.
yeah,
Shoot. Yeah, he must be. Yeah, they must be planning to use him in some special way. Surely.
it's just a
Surely.
shame he never made it to Luke's school, and then
Yeah.
I just can't. I still can't believe they've done this. I can't believe they've done it to
I
Luke.
know, it's a shame.
Luke
It's a shame.
thing is, Ahsoka should never have been the future of the Jedi. Neither should Cal Kestis. It should have been Luke,
But
right?
they have to be.
But they've now been put in a position where they have no other choice.
they've had
Otherwise,
to
the last Jedi
they've had
is
to
fucking
go
Rey Skywalker.
they have to go this far to
Yeah.
correct it.
To the point where they might be resetting the whole galaxy by going to a new one. Right?
Oh,
Like you're
dear.
putting the writers in this position. But and like Daisy Ridley, the thing is, I believe that Ahsoka can take the Jedi to the next step, right? I believe that and Rosario is like a great version of her as well, but
Mhm.
I feel like her with her little posse, especially with Ezra and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well. And if they ever come up with like new people to bring into the mix.
Get Grogu back.
Get Grogu back.
Get
Yeah, say
Grogu,
Grogu.
please.
Don't put him to that school. And
Don't come to school today, Grogu.
right, but like, I believe that can work. But we've already been told that Luke's version hasn't worked, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
the thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
they
This
should
is
never
interesting
do
because we
one.
don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to go on. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who lives or dies here. You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
the best case scenario is actually they just go, "Oh, Luke's school, it was actually fine." You know, that's like non-canon anymore. That would be the ideal one. But like, I don't know. I
But like that kind of plays into your theory with the droid though, because in Last Jedi they burnt the Jedi texts, so maybe this is why the droid's here to kind of continue what they
fix
lost. You know,
to finish what they started.
you
Yeah.
know, freaking Yoda, freaking, freaking.
Mm.
I'm like, what you
Yeah,
doing, man? What you doing? But no, yeah, that's smart. So with Anakin though, do you think what's going to happen? Do you think? Don't
uh,
even know anymore because obviously we've heard our
well, so
rumors and stuff, but
the reason I brought up all that stuff with the school is that I don't know, like, in my head there's a few scenarios, like, it's maybe not as interesting to discuss what episode I think he's going to be in as it is what
mm,
scenario is he going to come around at,
right,
because is it going to be one where it's like Ahsoka's basically fucked and she's like on her last legs and he's the reason that she gets up or something? Is it going to be that,
mm,
or is it going to be something where it's like she needs guidance in a more emotional time, or is it going to be something like I was saying about the school? Is it going to be like the final episode? Is it going to be a Qui-Gon from Obi-Wan where it's like just a little thing at the end? Like,
I hope
you know,
not. I want it
I
to
mean, they
mean
had him in the
something, you
trailer,
know.
right?
I
They had
want
him in
it
the
to,
trailer,
yeah.
so I'd expect probably I'd like him in at least 2 episodes.
Hmm.
But the other thing is, I'd rather
Are
they
we
just
talking Force Ghost,
what else what other
like
capacity?
flashbacks or something?
Oh, flashback. Oh, yeah, I suppose I would take flash. I would take a whole episode of flashbacks.
Mate, yeah. Oh,
And we know the thing is, we know that they can hide it, right?
yeah.
Because they totally hid Grogu, and he was in that whole first season of Mando. So
Mm,
like they can hide it. So I don't know. I would like him in a capacity where, like I was saying about the school, like if they get to that point at the end where that's the only thing I would accept with the Qui-Gon Jinn like cameo, where it's like maybe by the end she's like, You know what, motherfucker? Maybe we will start a school. Maybe I will be a Jedi Master,"
mm.
and she takes on that thing, and then Anakin's like, "I'll help. I'll I'll be happy with that," you know.
I'll be the nursery teacher.
Yeah, you'll be the younglings.
Christ.
Too soon.
But no, that's interesting. That's interesting. I feel like my prediction would be she's in a state of sadness or something, and he's there to kind of uplift her. That's going to be my prediction kind of
So
thing.
who do you think dies when that happens?
I don't think someone will necessarily die. I think just either the stress of training Sabine or something will do it.
Do you wonder if there's going to be some sort of Sabine has dark tendencies?
I mean, they kind of hinted at it, but I suppose that doesn't matter though if you're not strong in the Force, though. You know, that's
Um,
kind of my point with Grogu and her. Like, if Grogu turns bad, that's a bad deal. Whereas if Sabine turns dark, it's like, well, you're not that strong, so
yeah.
you know? So no offense, but we can take you out.
What do you think about maybe the next episode then? Because I like the pace that they're going at, because it's like they've set up in the first 2 episodes that there's this the villains are doing something and they're up to something in this star
Mhm,
system,
mhm.
and instead of drawing it out and being like, oh, like it's taken like 4 episodes for Ahsoka to get there,
Yeah.
they just went straight in on a short episode and went, right, she's on the planet, they're on the planet, the hyperdrive ring it's its final engine is coming into place.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping there's going to be kind of a 4 episode split. I'm kind of hoping there's going to be a lot happens next week, and that's kind of the introduction to like not Thrawn in the next episode, but the episode after that will be Thrawn, right?
Right. Right.
Where the first 4 episodes are like you Ahsoka getting from point A to point B, which is Thrawn, and then the rest of the season is dealing with that.
Right.
Because I feel like if we keep doing because I think they have enough now to jump off it, right? To go
Yeah.
for it. we have enough. I don't think we need more. Oh, waiting around for Thrawn to come and waiting around for Ezra to be there or go to the new galaxy. I'd rather they just went.
I feel like Thrawn doesn't come back until the end of the season, though. Like
You think?
they'll go to him first, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he'll
I
come
think.
back after.
But do you think Ezra is going to be in the season earlier then, or do you think they're going to get to the new galaxy and a
Well,
lot of the
some
episodes are going to
people
be that fight?
think that Inquisitor's Ezra, and I don't. I'm like, I don't know if I like it, but I can see it. Like, I
Yep.
don't know. I don't
I
know.
wouldn't be against it, but
It could be a twist because he's always had dark tendencies as well.
I wouldn't be
So,
against it, but it wouldn't really make sense to me why. Well, one, how the fuck did he get back from that galaxy?
but
And
you know what?
two,
Yeah, that's a good point.
there's no reason for him not to reveal himself.
Yeah.
Because if they're worried about um, Thrawn, that like Ahsoka getting to Thrawn, like
Yeah.
if Ahsoka, the thing is, right? There's two reasons Ahsoka is going after Thrawn. Is one is that Ezra's with him, and
Hmm.
two is that Thrawn's a bad guy.
And if
So
he
if you take,
comes back, war.
yeah, if he
'Cause-
comes back, but if
yeah.
Ezra comes back, like that just gives them more preparation for just Thrawn alone, rather than.
Hmm.
I like the idea of them going to this new galaxy, and they're kind of like, what the fuck? No one's ever been here before that we know of. First, we're like pioneers of this galaxy,
Yeah.
even though there's going to be like existing stuff there, I guess. But I really like the idea of having 4 episodes in the new galaxy,
That'd be cool.
and then maybe one or two of them are looking for Ezra, and then the next two are looking for Thrawn.
Because we know Balin and Ahsoka fight at some point. Do you think that's going to happen next episode? Because that's clearly in that
I would hope it would,
looking
yeah.
thing. That'd be cool. I can imagine the next episode's very like because they're. I imagine remember Ahsoka and Mando season 2. I imagine it's going to start off like that, where it's like people hunting her down, and them two are being like stealthy about it, going through the trees and stuff, cutting them down. That'd be pretty cool. See something like that, and like the red forest. That'd be a
Yeah.
cool visual. And then she gets to him, and then Sabine fights the other lassie. I can see that. And then, like you said, then they travel somehow to Thrawn, and then we spend the rest of the season over there.
Yeah, because I think as well, you like 8 episodes is a lot of TV, even though this was a short one. Like, if you can do it, thing is, if you could do it in a movie, you should have,
Mm.
right? If you could have done it in a film, you probably should have. So the fact they're doing it in a series means that there's hopefully enough, like fingers crossed, enough to tell in 8. Like, there's more than you can tell in a single film,
Hmm.
comfortably. So I'm hoping that the pace keeps up, because otherwise I would be like, well, why not just make an Ahsoka film, right? Or make it like, or a mini series or something like that. Why are we getting 8 episodes? And you can say like maybe like Disney Plus pushed or whatever, but I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope that there is actually 8 episodes worth of content, because I don't think there was 8 episodes worth of content in Mando season 3.
It was like 4.5.
Yeah.
Four
Well,
and a half.
I think there probably was eight episodes, but they wasted a few of them.
Lizzo. Lizzo Jack
Well,
Black.
at least we've not had any Lizzo in this series. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even like an actor like that that's shown up yet, where you're like, oh, that's taking me out.
I
Yeah.
like how tiny it is, I guess, because I like that's what I liked about Mando season 1 was that it was Mando and Grogu, and you had supporting characters, but it was very like episodic, and I liked that,
Mm.
and I liked that it all came together at the end. I think Mando season 1 is like really like I have that really highly.
Yeah.
Season 2, I think in terms of what I wanted Mandalorian to be, I bring it down, but in terms of obviously like a Star Wars show, it does a lot.
Yeah.
I think I like where this is right now, where it's very close knit, where it's like the bad guys, there's 3 of them. The good guys, there's basically 3 right now.
Hmm.
Hopefully Ezra and stuff like that as you go on. But I like that it's like very small. I'm not too interested right now in, like you say, they were very focused in this episode. I'm not too interested in opening the scope up too early.
Yeah.
I'd rather they just concentrated on this. And that seems to be what they're going for.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping that since Mando came out like this year, which is mad to think about.
That is mad.
But Mando came out this year, and Ahsoka did. I'm hoping that because Mando wasn't as good, is that they put their resources and they spent a lot of time on Ahsoka, and that's why Mando was lacking.
Well, Dave wasn't really a part of Mando season 3, so he
I
was
guess.
he was on this.
I mean, the other thing is as well. It's like, well, how much? Like I know they have the names, but obviously there's a lot of people involved in both shows. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, I don't know how it works. Obviously, we're not behind the scenes. We're not
Yeah.
guys behind the scenes, but I really hope that the evidence that Mando was lacking in season 3 is maybe evidence that this won't be, which is what I'm looking forward to.
I mean, so far so good though.
That's what I mean.
You know, so
So
yeah, man.
I'll take a couple cameos or twists or whatever. I've even heard. I don't. This might be. This isn't leaks, but I've heard the name thrown around. So
Well, Plo
spoilers.
Koon.
Possible spoilers for. No, I think he's real. He's proper barbecued, mate.
Yeah, he has to be, surely.
Although if he hadn't been properly barbecued on screen, he would definitely be
Yeah,
back.
like if he had any of the other Jedi deaths, he'd be back.
Back, mate,
He
yeah.
just had the worst one.
Have you seen the deleted scene?
No?
He actually has a worse one. You should watch it after this.
How do you see
There's
it?
one where he gets shot and he actually ejects out of his star pilot, and then they shoot the pod that
What?
he's ejected from as well.
My
It's mad.
God.
He blows up twice.
Jesus
But
Christ.
I've completely lost my train of thought.
You
What I was
really
gonna
is like a leak or something, or
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know if it's a leak. I've heard the name thrown about, and I think it was maybe in the credits of episode 1 or something.
oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he's given there was like a podcast episode or a YouTube thing that he'd put up where he'd mentioned that he'd been involved in Ahsoka. So spoiler, if you don't want to know anything about Ahsoka, that might be true. I don't know if it's true. It might be true. Is that Sam Witwer in some capacity is in this show? And
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people. Some people have said that instead of Ezra being the Inquisitor, that it's Sam Witwer.
That'd be sick. Even if it's not Starkiller, because they're not going to do Starkiller.
Mate, if it was Starkiller, I'd leave. No shot. It's
But
Starkiller.
even if it's just Sam Witwer versus Ahsoka though, like
Yeah.
that for me, I'm like I'll be satisfied with that because I can at least you
To
know
be fair,
he looks like him.
even if they
You know?
like made him Starkiller, but just didn't have him be the Starkiller for obviously he's not the Starkiller from Force Unleashed,
Yeah.
but if they just like depowered him a lot, I would even take like his character, I guess.
The thing is, like, Vader is dead though, and he has been for 10 years. So it's like,
Yeah, you can do any sort of like cryogenic or back to tank crap or that, whatever though.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I kind of
I'd
like
be
that.
sick though if that's the reveal. I'll take that if it's Sam Witwer. No, I don't care what character he is, but just seeing him in Star Wars like officially, it's not a voice actor. That'd be
Not
sick.
hearing in the Star Wars, yeah.
That'd be so cool. You know what? The more you say it, I can picture the body now. Like that kind of
Well, you know, that was kind of one of my points against it. It was like I don't see his head in that costume.
Really.
I don't know. Maybe I just have to watch it again with that knowledge. I don't know.
Oh, that might be a shout, you know, mate. Sam Witwer, mate. We have
But
freaking
again,
Ray
mate,
Stevenson. Sam Witwer is freaking Sith, mate.
so this again, this could be Mephisto in WandaVision, right? Like this could be nothing.
Yeah.
But if it is, that would be cool.
The thing is, the guy's got to be someone, like the guy in the helmet. It's like because he wouldn't cover the face if he wasn't going to reveal something. Surely, you know. So I don't know. We all kind of thought Barris at first, but it's clearly a dude. So aim Barris.
Yeah, I thought that episode especially.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
So and people thinking Ezra. I don't think it's Ezra. I think you just made a good point where it's like, well, how did he get back? Well, yeah, good point.
Well, but like, what? There's no reason for him not to reveal himself to Ahsoka and just be like, or like Sabine and be like, "Hey, I'm dark side." Like, why not? Like, you'd have to give a really fucking good reason why he's like keeping it hidden.
Yeah. So a Sam Witwer cameo or reveal would be pretty cool. No matter what his name is, it's not going to be Starkiller. There's no shot that's going to be it.
That would be mad though.
That would be mad. Imagine they just drop that. Like what? That's crazy.
Like, have I killed you before?
We're Shark T.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm intrigued. Now. Wait, if we get freaking Sam Witwer and Hayden Christensen in the same show, that's kind of mad. That's kind of crazy.
Bring back everyone, mate.
Just bring back everyone, mate. It's gonna be the best show.
Even bigger in this show.
I'm so intrigued what the finale is going to be because I don't even have theories like on like what the big climactic thing's going to be. I'm just honestly, I'm just enjoying it. You know, I'm not even theorizing.
Like, obviously, I had my thing about the Jedi School, and that's where I'd hope it would go. But that could be like after the whole Thrawn movie as well.
Yeah.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
that's more of a long-term thing. But like you say, like I'm kind of just I want to be along for the ride. I don't really want to know too much.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's always good for discussion. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the watch. I'm kind of going in with too many theories or whatever, because honestly, that's kind of been taking away the fun for some stuff, especially for Marvel. When I've listened to like breakdown videos and stuff, it just honestly it turns me off.
I was gonna say, ironically, we said this right after the Sam Witwer thing, but like, you know,
Yeah, but like I said, like there's a difference between like expecting that to happen versus how would it be fun if that
I
was,
guess.
because we know it's not going to be Starkiller. If it was though, that'd be cool. but yeah, man, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to discuss? I feel like
Well, I think I
like
was just gonna summarize. Like,
yeah,
I thought this was probably the more I've talked about it, probably the better episode of the three.
yeah.
Visuals
Even if it did like, I don't want to say copy Thor, but took inspiration from it a
Yeah,
lot.
and I think I'll stand by maybe a little too far in places, but
Yeah,
at the same time, I understand why.
yeah. Nice
The
little homage.
other thing is, as well, is I'm just fucking buzzing for the next episode.
Yeah.
And well, the rest of the series in general, because like usually when you get to this right in this point in Kenobi, you're like, oh, he got his lightsaber back and he's on a ship. Where's he going? And then he's like, I don't know. And then he's like, oh, Anakin's alive. And it's like, well, yeah, but we already know that. Like, all right, So like
Yeah.
when you're in this point in Kenobi, you're a bit like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. And like Mando kind of has some things like that, but it's also more episodic than this,
Mm.
right? Where it's a bit like it doesn't
Adventure of the
actually.
week.
Yes, and I like that. I like that there's a difference between these two.
Yeah.
But definitely for like a part three of an 8-part series, I'm
Yeah,
mate, I'm
man.
gonna go.
It
Yeah,
is a shame that like next week's gonna be the halfway point though. like already. That's kind of mad. But we
I
did get
guess
2-1.
I do get a bit jealous of folk who just like have the discipline to wait until
I
the end
know.
and just can binge it. Because I'm like, oh fuck,
I
like
know.
this week's like I'm living for Wednesdays.
Yeah. There's positives and there's positives and negatives for both, because like I feel like when you binge them, you forget what episodes had what. They all just kind of merge
Right.
together. Whereas now that we're discussing them weekly, the episodes feel,
I was gonna say one of the benefits
individual.
is we get 7 episodes out of this series instead of one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then we get Loki right after.
Much less excited for that, but
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Especially since Kang's a fucking pussy now.
King Kang.
But
But yeah, man, freaking! I don't know what I'd rate it. I don't want to really give it a number. I don't like giving it a number until it's finished.
I think I'm kind of steering away from getting too decided on stuff like that until
Yeah,
I've seen it. Because like you just don't know where it's gonna go.
exactly.
Because like we said, like even with Secret Invasion more recently,
Hmm.
first 3 episodes were pretty like I think they were pretty solid. They weren't like fantastic or groundbreaking, but they were
Yeah.
pretty good. But in the context of 6 episodes, it's just not worth it.
Well, mate, Ray Stevenson versus Gravik. Like that's it.
You had one word in this
Enough said.
episode. Great.
Enough
Yeah.
said, mate.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, point well made.
Point well made. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just enjoying the show. It's good to have weekly Star Wars, man. I miss this. I miss having weekly Star Wars. It's freaking great, mate.
I miss
Freaking,
having Star Wars.
get back
I
from
don't care
work
if it's
all cuddled
weekly,
up on my
monthly,
couch.
mate. I don't care if it's weekly, monthly, or a fucking decade apart. I just want good Star Wars.
It's
Like
good Star Wars, and this is
good
good
Star
so far.
This is good so
In
far.
fact, I want to make one last point. I wanted to. I didn't want to bring this up because I feel like I don't know. I feel that people could take it the wrong way, but it's a positive. Is that nobody's really mentioned that all the main characters are essentially female, and that's not made a difference to me enjoying the show at all. So it's like I really hate the argument with Ray, for example, where it's like, oh, you hear her because she's female. I'm like, mate, I'm watching a show right now. About 90% of the characters are
Yeah. I
girls.
was gonna say
You know?
at least 4 of the main characters are
Yeah.
women.
Like Ahsoka, Hera, Sabine, Shin.
Shit.
We just got Mon Mothma back. It's just like,
Yeah.
like I'm not having that. The Night Sister as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's literally jam packed, and it's like I
Ocean.
love them all. They're all great. It
And the
just
thing is,
shows how
like,
the difference of writing is in storytelling compared to these characters versus Ray. And I know these characters had shows to develop their characters, but I guarantee if you watch this show without watching those shows, they're better written characters, 100%.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, you still might get your critical drinkers or your
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
They're like, oh, fuck on women and start like you. I don't know what his view's going to be on it.
yeah,
Obviously, it might be more nuanced. We'll see.
yeah,
But like, you're probably still going to get people who are like that. But I definitely have not heard any rebuttal against it
yeah.
either from Disney, where it's like, oh, you just don't like our show because there's women in it. And
Because
it's like,
it doesn't feel forced at all, though. You know what I
no.
mean? It all feels naturally like why these characters would be here. It's not like the Avengers scene in Endgame where it's like, oh, women. You know, that's like, okay, that's a bit random. But like, and this is like, oh, it makes sense that all these characters are all here, you know?
Well,
So,
again, I think not like making sense is one thing,
mhm,
but like you say, just having likable, well written
yeah,
people who bounce off each other with good chemistry, like just that alone, like
yeah,
you don't need to have it. Like it can still be like big banner women,
mhm,
like fair enough, but like as long as it's good,
yeah,
you
man.
know, like you're always going to get folk who say otherwise, but we're not those people, and most people aren't those people.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you know, we'll see. Well, obviously, we'll see how the show goes on, but like
Circles, but it's gone
so
well.
far,
It's
yeah,
gone well.
you've not got
Sure.
because like compare this to your one female character in Indiana Jones, you know, and it's like she was enough all on her own as one, and
Yeah,
it's like, well, we have like you say, like 5 women on screen, and nobody's complaining.
yeah, yeah,
they're
man.
all they're all likable.
Yeah.
So it's not, yeah, it's nothing to do with your sex, gender, yada yada yada. It's very
It's
much,
just it's just good.
are you an annoying cunt
Yeah,
or are you well written?
exactly,
Not
exactly.
even well written. Are you likable? Like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well written is a part of it as well because you don't need to be likable to be a good character. You know what I mean?
yeah. But people are gonna complain a lot less if you're like,
Yeah,
"Wow, you're a capitalist
yeah.
pig."
Pig.
You work for Disney. Did someone at Disney wrote that line? Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, you think it's fucking 1920 in Russia? Like, you're getting paid to write that line, you fucking twonk. Like,
Oh dear.
Jesus fucking, I fucking hate that film.
I don't.
Jesus,
We've not even reviewed it yet.
I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't
It's too
either.
far.
I don't,
It's too far. It's too far gone to like remember anything about
I
that film.
don't want to remember it.
So, well, that's the state, and those are pretty comparable because that's Lucasfilm, right?
Yeah,
Same people. It should theoretically be the same pool of
same
people they're drawing
quality.
from. So,
Yeah,
and I guarantee the show didn't cost as much as that fucking dire film.
yeah, yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah.
300
So,
million. Oof. Oof.
well, the only thing I can hope for now is that more people watch Ahsoka, more people like Ahsoka.
Yeah,
We get more of this Star Wars because my worry is that this is Star Wars is good, but it's not going to be as well, uh, not well received, but it's not going to be as
viewed.
exposed,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just like Andor.
as Obi-Wan. And when you have something of the quality of this or Andor, and it's not getting the attention, but Kenobi is, which is like I can understand the reasons why, but it's not a nice feeling either to think that that's what's on the horizon for Star
Yeah,
Wars is more
it's
stuff like Kenobi.
it's because people aren't watching them because they're good. They're watching them because they know who Obi-Wan is. People might not know who
Yeah,
Ahsoka is or
that's what I mean.
Andor. You know, so it's like.
I'm hoping the word of mouth carries these, right?
I mean, Andor got great reviews though, and I know Disney don't really care about that, but I think for season 2, I think that will hold some weight. For Ahsoka though, I don't know. I feel like Ahsoka's a pretty household name. Like we were at Star Wars Celebration, and she's all over the joint, you know. So people know her. You
There
know,
are the people. Get those viewing figures up.
she's not random.
Yeah.
Besides, she's been in a Star Wars movie before, and we reviewed it on our first diary video.
Oh
Freaking
yeah, here's a little time card
little
to that.
plug to that.
Yeah,
Plug
that
to
shit
that.
show. It's a miracle we
See,
have
that's
the
so
show.
Xander. He was in freaking Rogue One, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, mate, given that Clone Wars one wasn't terrible, but given that, like, it's a miracle we still have Ahsoka. I
It's
think
mad. It's mad. That's what I mean. Just to see the growth. It's mad. 2008 that came out.
that
We're,
really helped.
we're
Yeah, yeah.
20, we're 2023, which is in live action. It's like what? How's that happened? Mental. But yeah, man, buzzing for next week.
Yep.
Buzzing.
And
Give us a long episode. Go for it.
yeah, I think that was my one thing today. I was like, if you're going to give me short episodes, I maybe would, because we had a long episode and a short one last week, and you give
Yeah.
us two, and I get that's the start of the show. But if you're going to have short episodes, I think I'd rather have short ones clumped together than long ones.
If it's to this quality, I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a long week.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've not even heard details of it next episode, like how long it's going to be or anything like that. Usually they tell you, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But well, I'm sure the marketing for this has been really strange, I thought.
it has
It's been
been.
very like in your face, but also kind of like behind the lines. Like
I'm just avoiding it. I'm like, I've seen
they're,
enough.
they're releasing a lot of trailers, and I feel like more than is usual for a Star Wars show, which means they obviously have faith in it, or they want people to watch it,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
But it's also flown under the radar, I feel like, at the same time.
yeah.
Like for people who already watch Disney Plus or who already go into Disney Plus, it's on the banner and everything, like fair enough. But like for people who maybe you would want to pick up Disney Plus explicitly to watch this show, I feel like maybe aren't getting that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Disney's marketing's been really weird recently.
I'm interested to see the numbers when it finishes compared to the other shows. I'd be really interested. Again, I hope it all makes sense why it's number one just because of the name.
Makes sense, but
So
it's fucking depressing.
it is depressing because it's probably the worst one. So, but, but yeah, man, I think Boba Fett was the least. I think that's the least, even including Andor.
I thought Boba Fett was all right.
No, I mean like viewership wise.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I mean. But like,
yeah.
I think I'd rather watch Boba Fett than Obi-Wan again.
Well, Boba Fett had two banging episodes, and I'll take them ones. Yeah, I'll take them two episodes over everything they've made in Disney, like in the last 10 years.
Fair
So,
play, yeah.
I'll take those. But anyway,
But yes, I think we'll call it there.
yeah, I think so.
And thank you for watching. And stick your thoughts in the comments where you want it to go. Do you think it's Sam Witwer?
Maybe Robert will be back next week. Maybe.
And maybe pigs will fly.
Maybe
But
pigs will fly.
we'll get our co-host
Not in
back.
the UK though. Freaking nothing's flying in the UK right.
Oh yeah, very. Let's date the episode. Let's date the episode. The air traffic control went down the other day. There you go. It's 2023, people.
Oh
But
dear.
yes, so thank you for watching, and yeah, like you say, hopefully Robert will join us again soon, and
Yeah.
we'll be a trio.
Once
Especially
again.
because he's missed quite a few of his things that he would like to talk
I
about.
know, it's a shame.
So,
It's a shame. Like
well,
Barbie.
we'll see if it's a shame when he comes back and fucking ruins the podcast, but
Oh no.
we'll see. He's not watching this. But yes, thank you for watching, and we shall see you next week. And we hope this series is we hope it's still fucking good next week. Oh.